Okay, we're concluding the mimer. We're concluding the mimer. Let's try. I don't know if we can conclude it today. We're concluding the mimer about Adon Olam Asher Molach B'Terem Kol Yatzur Nivra. It's part of the prayers that we say in the morning. One of the first things we say. I guess there's some congregations maybe that say it in the end. I don't know. In Chabad, and then we would say it almost the first thing. Adon Olam Asher Molach. Huh?
They all say it.
But aren't there congregations that say?
There are congregations that say it at the end also.
As well. Okay.
They sing it.
Right. Adon Olam Asher Molach. Right. I don't remember if it was at the beginning and the end. I remember when I went to Hebrew school, so they made I didn't learn anything in Hebrew school, but I remember they made us go to the synagogue. You had to go to the synagogue because it was Orthodox, it was a young Israel. And so we went to the synagogue, and I remember, vaguely the melodies. This is one of the only few things I remember. Adon Olam Asher Molach. Of course, I have no idea what it meant, but it was a nice melody. Oh, no. Then the kids, I remember, they made this thing that they got bored with the melody. It really sort of got me. I didn't go to synagogue that many times, but they made it to the tune of 16 tons, and what do you get? Adon Olam Asher Molach. But there, I thought, can't. That's just not right, Okay, huh?
At least they didn't sing with the jingle bells.
You got a good point. Good point.
They've done that too.
Good point. Not in the Orthodox. No. Yeah. I mean, young Israel was genuinely Orthodox. Orthodox is a stupid word. I mean, it's Orthodox. Orthodox is like a Greek word or something. Orthodox. It was a genuine Judaism. Sure. Had genuine rabbis and genuine this.
Who was the rabbi?
His name was Rabbi Hamnik. His son became a major figure in Chabad. Hamnik, he's a Tzvi Hamnik, yeah. A lecturer and a speaker and a teacher. Yeah. I remember Rabbi Hamnik. I don't remember what his first name was, but I was I was vying for, excellence in the yeshiva. I was the worst kid in the yeshiva. As far as bad, I was, best. The best.
This is on tape?
You can do whatever you want. Anyway, so eventually they evicted me from the bar mitzvah classes, and I had to learn on my own from the basement with my father. My father took me down to the basement, and I learned it. And anyway, so when I met him years later, when I became religious, he just could not believe. We could not believe. I remember this look of total astonishment on his face. And when I looked at how he was astonished, I realized what an amazing miracle it was that I was, doing Torah and the commandments. It really, truly is a true miracle if you think about it. I mean, it really is just, it's totally understandable. I mean, Hashem just plucked me out of the quicksand. Okay, listen, what can I,
Hope for all of us.
Yeah, there's hope. Right. Right. That's this. Yes, it is. Okay. All right, ready. So here we go. We are learning now about the two mashalim, the two metaphors that are brought in Chassidut about the sounding of the shofar. One of those metaphors is the king's son, the Baal Shem Tov's metaphor, the king's son who goes far away from the castle and gets lost and forgets that he's the king's son, gets involved with the people, gets involved with begging, and finally, after years, 15 years, whatever, comes back to the castle of the king and suddenly wakes up that he's the king's son, but he forgot the language, and the guards around the palace are beating him up, and he sees his father up there, and he screams out to his father, "Ah!" because he forgot the language, so he screams out. So the Rebbe said, how can you bring this example? How can the Baal Shem Tov bring this example for the sounding of the shofar? It's not good things. What do you mean the king's son goes far away and he forgets the language and he's a beggar? It was bad. So the Rebbe said, no, it's a very good example. It's showing that in order to really call out to the king, you have to go above any language. The connection that we have, essential connection that we have with God, has to be one that's above understanding. We have to try to understand God. It's a commandment. We have to try to understand as much as we can. It's a commandment to love God. You can't love God if you don't understand something. You have to have, when we're talking about a play actor here, he's pretending, God is one of the characters in the play and I'm another one, and, the world is a stage and I'm just pretending to love God. Like, I think of something else that I love, or I imagine, imaginary love. So I'm pretending. No, it has to be a genuine love of God. In order to love God, we don't see God, we don't feel God, we don't, what's there attractive to us about God? What is there that we find in God that we can't do without? We just love. You can do very well without God. And, you love something, you have to have it. So in order to love God, you have to understand something about what God is. You have to understand God is creating us, God is directing the world. All these ideas of Chassidut, that's what Chassidut is here for, to teach us to love God. Because of that, we do the commandments in a totally different way. But, says the Rebbe, nevertheless, the essential connection that a Jew or anyone has with God has to be above any words. It has to come from the heart. The heart can be our biggest enemy, but on the other hand, the heart is the goal, to transform your heart, to love God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your might. With all of your might means above understanding. So that's the idea of the king's son forgetting the language. You want to call out to the king, you have to forget the language. You have to forget any sort of definitions, any sort of what you think that God is. You have to be above language. Good. Then there's the second example, the second metaphor. Al derech zeh b'mashal habeis. Similarly, it is in the second metaphor, me'inyan halavushim, of the garments. Now this example is that the king, sorry, I forgot to look it up. The king was wandering in the forest, and he takes off his garments and puts on regular, normal garments because he doesn't want to get caught by anyone. And he goes to a little shack, and the person in the shack saves his life. And he gets out. And later on, this person in the shack does a sin against the king. I'm pretty sure that this is the king sentences him. The king gets very mad at him. When he comes in front of the king says, "Oh, your majesty, here is the garment that you put on. I want you once a year to put on this garment and remember what I did for you." I'm almost sure that that's the example. Let's look and see. Sorry. The lavushim af hem kavod v'tiferes. So that garments are for glory. Kamo bigdei malchut, like the garments of a king. Bekein begadim yikarim b'chlal, and also expensive clothes in general. Right? You buy a suit for $1,000, right? And the Chinese can make the same suit, and it looks exactly the same for $15, right? $15. Really? It's not exactly the same. If you really see a suit that really costs, $5,000, whatever is $5,000, there's something different. It's something different. If you don't look carefully, if you're not really careful, nevertheless, there's a distinct difference between the suits. For people who understand suits, or even people that don't understand, it makes a different impression. Heim b'medida v'hagbala. But garments, whatever they are limited. Hine b'nimshal levushim u'yin Torah v'mitzvahs. The garments, this is the Torah and the commandments. The Torah, the mitzvahs, they are the garments, like it says in the Tanya. In the 4th chapter, what does it say over the parak? Hey, 5th chapter. The Torah, the mitzvahs, that's right. It says the Torah, the Torah is food and the mitzvahs are garments. God said to Abraham, Bo lavush lavushai, put on my garments. My garments are the Torah and the commandments. And also the commandments, God gave Abraham commandments. Lech lecha. Also the Torah is also a garment. Like it says, Lavash Hashem oz, Lavash Hashem ozi tazer. God put on garments. He enclothed himself with power. Ve'ein oza l'Torah. God's power that he enclothed himself, that is the Torah. Ubiyos she'avoda the Rosh Hashanah, because the service of Rosh Hashanah is hitkashus the Yisrael atzmuso, because the attachment of the Jewish people is to God, is with God's essence on Rosh Hashanah, not any of God's garments or any understanding of God. Kamoshu l'maylam b'chinas melech, as God is above the level of being a king. Shari Rosh Hashanah, you have to make God into a king. You have to arouse something that's above his desire to be a king. You have to arouse his desire to be a king. How much more so as the decrees of the king that we want to change. So if so, on Rosh Hashanah, what are we trying to do? We're trying to change the decrees of the king. He says, well, the fact is, on Rosh Hashanah, we're not only trying to change the decrees of the king, we're trying to renew the king himself, to coronate the king himself, to arouse in the king the desire to be a king. And even more, how do we arouse in the king the desire to be a king? So we're arousing the desire of Hashem to be a king. So that's even above God's desire to be a king. So this is the thing which is totally above understanding.
But I thought that it was king before it was created, was because from within Hashem there was this desire to be king.
Okay, so that's what we're saying. We're saying that there's three levels. There's the fact that God is a king. There's the desire of Hashem to be a king. And then there's arousing this desire to be a king. This arousing desire to be a king, this is hidden in the essence of God before the world was created. So it's as though the Rebbe is saying that the ability to arouse God's desire to be a king comes from something which is above even the possibility of being revealed. It comes from God's essence. That's what he's saying. It's not understandable. It's not understandable, but nevertheless also what a Jew is also not understandable. And when that comes from the essence of the Jew, the essence of the Jew goes to the essence of God. Here we see there's a lot of Jews, there's a lot of stories about Jews who were totally not religious, anti-religious. And when they were put like up to the stake or something like that, like I said before, this is the way I heard the explanation of what the Inquisition was. The Inquisition was for Jews who had left Judaism. The Inquisition was for Jews who they, on the outside, appeared to be religious, normal, they appeared to be Catholic, and in their basement they did mitzvahs or whatever they did, right? Why did they do a thing like that? They could have left with everybody else, because they didn't want to leave their power or their houses or their wealth or their security or whatever. So these were Jews that were in the Inquisition. These were Jews that were halfway out anyway, right? They already were halfway. They were willing to go to church and to bow down and to do all these things that are totally forbidden in Judaism, right? It's considered to be idolatry. But they were willing to do it. In the basement, they did a couple of commandments. They did whatever they did. Right? These people, when they were put on the stake and they were given the choice, totally absolved, give up all your Judaism, they said Shema Yisrael, and they were burned. That's the way I heard the story. That's the way I heard the story. In any case, whatever it is, there are definitely cases, not one or two, of Jews that were unwilling to give up the name of being a Jew, and were willing to die. Suddenly, at that second, right, if they would have sat and thought about it, they wouldn't have done it. So what is it that roused inside of themselves to do a stupid thing like this? To give their lives? A normal person says, your money or your life. He gives his money. Here he says, no, your Judaism or your life. He has no Judaism. He has a Shema Yisrael. He's not willing to give up his Judaism, not even to say it. Right? Why? Even if there's one case like this, it still shows there's something inside of the Jew that's above. It's above understanding. In order to arouse the desire of the king to be a king, you have to take off the commandments. It has to be something higher than the commandments. That's like the story. The man says to the king, take off your cloak, put on the old cloak that you had when I was saving you, when I saved you. Remember what I did for you. Al derech shenisbra'el, like it says, like we said, forgetting and being above language. Here we're talking about forgetting and being above your garments. The king takes off his royal garments and he puts on this garment that was used when the person saved him. And therefore, hamashal al tkiyat shofar is begadim pshutim davka. The garment, the metaphor for sounding of the shofar is that the king takes off his royal garments and he puts on these simple garments that he had when this man saved him. Took off his royal garments. The same thing is also here. We have to take off our royal garments. We have to forget about this thing of we're Jews and we have rituals and we have Torah and we have the commandments and it's all sort of orderly and set up. If a person, God forbid, gives his life for Judaism, it means he's not going to learn any more Torah and he's not going to do any more commandments and he's not, who knows if he's going to go to heaven, who knows, it doesn't think about these things. Right? Doesn't think about these things. Who gives their life? These garments, taking off the king's royal garments and putting on normal garments, this shows an attachment with God's essence as it is above being a king. Like it explains in great detail in this metaphor. To begadim elu, that these garments shamelech haya biyar, that these are the garments that the king had in the forest. Lifnei sheheshiv oto al kisei malchuto, before he went back to the palace. These were the garments that the king put on in the forest, so you wouldn't recognize that he's a king before he went. If so, it's the same thing here. We're saying the king is talking about God, and the king takes off his garments, his royal garments. Means that we're removing from God any sort of royalty, we're getting to the source of his royalty. V'gam ban mashban nimshal mevo'er, the begadim elu, this is the garments that were in the time of Matan Torah, the giving of the Torah. Shehim lachnu otoyis berich b'shofar, like God was made a king by the shofar before Matan Torah. It says before Matan Torah is a kol shofar chazak moed, it says. Hainu, above God being a king. It says there was the shofar, this shofar made Hashem a king. You know, there's let me just turn this off a little bit. You know, there are methods in teaching you can't really, teach a child music. You can't teach. You have to direct him so that he reveals it in himself. He reveals the love of music. He reveals the love of, who are you? You can't take a child that doesn't like music and force him to learn music. You can give him the opportunity. You can direct him. You can encourage him. He doesn't like music. But you catch him, he's doodling in class all the time. Write down the notes. Doesn't like his doodle, but maybe he could be an artist. Maybe he can be an artist. Maybe he can't be a musician. Maybe he can't be an artist. Maybe he can be a nice person. Maybe he can't be an artist, he can't be this, he can't be a nice person. Maybe he can be a lecturer, he can be a philosopher. Maybe he can be a mathematician. You have to find out what you have to find a rabbi. You have to find out who is this person, what are his talents. Okay, that's not exactly what it says over here, the same thing over here, because here we're talking about above any of God's talents. But it's the same thing, hidden inside of this person's soul is a certain talent, a certain, tchuna, a nature, right? A nature, that this person can express his nature. Everybody has this inside of them. Some people maybe have very bad natures that you have to, get rid of in order that they can reveal their true nature. Ideally, it's supposed to be, that everybody, because they're alive, they value life. That's what it's supposed to be. Now in the world nowadays, they're trying to change that around with abortions and crazy stuff. But it's supposed to be the people love. One of the things that makes life possible and ability is if you yourself are positive. that you want to use your talents, the good that's inside of you, to contribute something to the world. And everybody has something. But the fact that you're alive means you must have something to contribute to the world. Right? So I have to have something. Professor Viktor Frankl says this is your conscience. Your conscience tells you what it is. Your inspiration, whatever it is, it tells you, it directs you. You know what it is. Okay, I don't know if that's 100% really reliable. I don't think it's 100%. He claims that even if Hitler would have listened to his true conscience, he wouldn't have done what he did. Okay, here we have the Torah. Right? The Torah directs us. It tells us in the direction of what our conscience wants to do. Why do we have this? Man is made in the image of God. God also has the same thing. God also has a hidden nature. The hidden nature deep, deep, deep inside of God. Here we're saying that it's the essence of God. That it's above being revealed. It's above being revealed. It's above being the potential of being revealed. But that is God's essence. That's the trick on Rosh Hashanah. By us using our essence, which is above being, understand our essence, who we are, we're Jews. A Jew in his essence, he wants to do what God wants. He wants to make God a king, because it's the truth. He wants to be God's servant, God's partner. He wants to reveal this. That's what a Jew wants. And Rosh Hashanah is supposed to be the day when we do it. That's the screaming out of the shofar. And it has to be above a way that's above any language, above any garments. Okay? Good, Herschel? That's what we're talking about. That arouses this essence of God above all logic, above all words, above even potential. It's a new thing that's never been revealed. The essence of God. At Mount Sinai, briefly, but it didn't really come from us. That's why Adam was created. It was supposed to be to reveal this essence. Okay. Hagam, the Yud. Hagam.
Can we take a break for a moment?
Yes. Okay, Yud. Hagam, the Lashon She'omer Sham, even though that the languages that are, the expressions that are used in those two metaphors about the king's son that screams out and the man in the forest that tells the king to take off his regular garments, put on simple garments, B'hamashal v'gam b'hanimshal, in the metaphor and also in what the metaphor is talking about, sounding the shofar, Kefi she'en b'pashtus, ein medabrim b'shivchan shel Yisrael. Even though that these two languages, where we're trying to compare the Jewish people to the son of the king who forgot the language. He went so far away and he became so confused and so how do you say, debased, that he forgot the language, he forgot that he was a son, a prince, he forgot everything. And the other example is that the king got mad at somebody and the person says, okay, remember when you were lost, the king got lost in the forest and he had to take off his garments, his royal garments, put on those non-royal garments. These are talking about the Jewish people. These are all metaphors for the Jewish people. Jewish people that got debased and the Jewish people that forget the garments, take off the garments of the king.
In the second story, though, it's one day a year, he says to the king.
Right, that's right. Hare omer b'mamar sham d'mashal zehu mi'arav agon ha'chasid Rav Levi Yitzchak Berditchev. It says that this example, this metaphor that we're using, this parable that we're using about the king taking off his royal cloak, this comes from Rav Levi Yitzchak of Berditchev. Now, Rav Levi Yitzchak Berditchev was a very good friend of the Alter Rebbe's, and he was an amazing genius and holy person beyond the scripture. Yeah. V'yadu, and it's known, Meforsan, B'kala Olamos, in all the worlds, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Berditchev, his main thing was he loved the Jews. He loved every Jew. Umelitz Yosher al kol echad ve'echad miYisrael, and he learned good things about every Jew. Umachri et kol echad ve'echad miYisrael, and he tilted the scales of judgment against that were against the Jews for merit. He found some merit in what they're doing. One of the famous stories about Rav Levi Yitzchak Berditchev is that there was a Jew in the synagogue that he was a wagon driver. And that's all he was thinking about. He was a very simple Jew. All he was thinking about is making money in the wagon, going back. So he was told, pray and, God will help you. the main thing is praying. The money comes from God. Yeah. So he puts on his tefillin, suddenly realizes, wow, I got a job in another half an hour, and I didn't grease the wheels of this. So he ran outside in his talis and his tefillin, forgetting totally about the fact that he had tefillin on, just thinking about, I got to grease the wall. He was greasing the wheels, which made him all dirty and filthy, and his tefillin and everything like that. And Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Erditchev passed by, and he said, Rabbonu Shalom, look at how holy your Jewish people are, right? Even when they're greasing the wheels of their wagons, they still are thinking about God. They still have their tefillin on. So he took the worst things that Jews did. I mean, of course, there's much worse things than that. And he learned some merit on them. But often the malacharchila riber, in a way that he completely disregarded the bad and looked only at the good. They say another story about Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Erditchev that he once said, God, what's written in your tefillin? It's written, Mi kamocha ka'am Yisrael. It's written in the Gemara. Mi kamocha am Yisrael, goy echad boretz. What's written in our tefillin? Shema Yisrael Hashem echad. In our tefillin is written that God is one. In your tefillin is written that the Jews are one. Goy echad boretz, right? It says, I know that if a Jew, no matter what type of a Jew, if his tefillin fall on the ground, or if he sees tefillin falling on the ground, he immediately picks them up. He says, you, God, your tefillin have been laying on the ground for 2,000 years. You can't pick them up? Right? It was the Jewish people. Why are they doing bad things? What do you want? You've abandoned them. They're on the ground 2,000 years. You're letting the goyim kill them, trample over them. You have to pick them up. That's Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Erditchev. Lochin, therefore, Kesha Omer Bam the Mashal Zeh, that this example, this metaphor about the king in the forest taking off his garments, is from Levi Yitzchak Erditchev. Moving, it must be understood by Pashto simply, the Kol Lashonos, that all of these expressions that are used in this metaphor, Heim Lamaliusa, everything must be something good. The king, the forest, taking off his garments, remembering V'hari zeh shitaso v'darko benogea lebnei Yisrael, because this is the whole way of Rev Levi Yitzchak Erditchev with the Jewish people, only to see good. Ki yadua perusha shel Rev Levi Yitzchak Erditchev on the pasukim in the Sefer Yeshaya sheyesham torim de bnei Yisrael shem lechaora, that some things where it says hoi goy, right, choted, Jewish people are sinners, etc. And in Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah, there's bad things. As Mefarish Rev Levi Yitzchak Erditchev, the Torim Elu Morim Al Shivcham Yisrael. He twisted the whole thing around to show that these are good things of the Jewish people. One of the biggest proofs that when Yeshaya says apparently bad things about the Jewish people, that they're sinners and that they're evil and they're foolish, but it's Yeshaya. Yeshaya is the book of salvation. And if he says something, he's the book of consolation. All these haftorahs that we say, the Sheva and Nechamta, all of them come from Isaiah. The Yeshaya who Navi the Yeshua, because Isaiah is the prophet of comfort, salvation. Kishemo, like his name. Yeshaya, from the language of Yeshua, saving us from bad. V'lo od ela she'em shvachim na'alim biyoter. These seemingly bad things are really the highest possible praises. She'em b'torei shevach dugmasam, that they're so high that you can't use. The Jewish people are so high that there's no term in the dictionary that can describe their highness. That's one of the explanations, Romam Tano Mikalo Lashanos, that God elevate us over all language. It means there's no language that can express how God has elevated the Jewish people. So therefore, the only thing you can use are bad terms. Bad terms. Good terms you can't use. Even now, in slang language in the streets, I remember it used to be, wow, that's really bad. That music is really bad, right? Bad means it's really good, right? Really good. There's also other things that are similar. But Yesh Lomar, we can say, the Al Pia Yadu, according to Perish Maim Razal, Nifraim in Aramidato Velomidato, that it says that a person gets paid. Hashem judges a person whether he agrees to it or he doesn't agree to it. Al derech zeh b'pirush lashon a Mishnah, like it says, din v'cheshbon, says a person was din v'cheshbon in front of God. Kasher adam omer pasak din wal adam acher hu posek b'zel gam al atzmo. When a person says a judgment on someone else, he's judging himself. What does this mean, din v'cheshbon? It says like this, that after a person dies, so he's taken up to the great, court in heaven. And it says, you lived a pretty interesting life, you did a few, but we've decided to make you a judge. That's pretty good, pretty good. We're going to sit you as one of the judges. Okay, here we have a few cases. They show him a man doing something, right? Going and, taking money from a orphan. What do you say about this person? Money from an orphan. Guy is supposed to go to hell. Says, okay, next. They show a person going around, collecting money for his charity that doesn't even exist. He's just stealing money. What do you think about a person like that? Person like that? All the way down, using people. Okay, what do you say about this person? He didn't help others. He didn't loan money to others. What do you say? A really bad guy. I mean, you have to, okay, you did a really good job of judging. Oh, I wanted to just tell you one thing. Who is this person? It's you. You just judged yourself. You did all those things. Remember? So it says a person is judged midato velo midato. It says a person is judged both together. Midato, and as he said, but lo midato, he doesn't know that it's himself that he's judging. So therefore, it's the same way the other way around. If you would say good things, so he's also judging himself. What do you say about this person? Well, that's really wonderful what this person did. That was you. You did all these things. If Rabbi Lubavitcher judged in a positive way, Hari Pasak Dino shall Rabbi Lubavitcher benogea latorim anal should be a shaya as a Pasak Din latorim shabatoros umashalim shalo. If so, that which Rabbi Lubavitcher said about these apparently bad words that Isaiah used, talking about the Jewish people, it says, Isaiah says, a nation of sinners, of people that are impossible to deal with. Said Rabbi Lubavitcher said, this is really good things that God is saying, that Isaiah is saying over here. If so, it must be that these things are good. It must be the same thing that these other things that he said about the Jewish people, that Rabbi Lubavitcher himself said about the Jewish people, that it must be that they're good, that they forgot the language, that they took off the garments of the king. Okay. Yud, Aleph. Ubafrach Kfar Chabad. It already was such a thing. What was it? Again, what's the Rebbe saying? Rosh Hashanah is the holiday of good that's totally above, even being above understanding. There's good that we can understand, that's above understanding that we can understand. Above understanding, we say, okay, we don't understand it, but it's good. Then there's good that's even above that, essential good. And this is something we can't understand in any language. That's why it says that you have to forget the language and you have to remove the garments. It already was such a thing. Maiserav. Ukamasupra, like it says in the Gemara. Sha'omru lashano, that said languages, expressions, shenirim, chitzonim, bichitzonius, ubemes kulam brachas ninu. There's a story about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Okay, you with me, Herschel? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai sent his son, Rabbi Eliezer, to get blessings from these tzaddikim. And he came back and he said, they all cursed me. So what did they say? He said that, I should spend money and I should never get it back. I should invest money and never get it back. That my house should be destroyed. That send out my daughters and they'll bury my daughters. The terrible things. So those were all blessings. Those were really all blessings, right? What it means is that you'll send out your daughters to get married and they won't come back, and that your house will be destroyed. It means your grave will be destroyed. You'll raise up in the dead. Explained everything was really very good. Why did they have to say it in a way of curses? Because the blessings were so high and so great that he couldn't express it in a positive way. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was able to interpret what they meant. That why did they have to bless him in such negative ways? Like it says, because these were what we call concealed blessings. I think this is a mistake in the printing. It should the blessing she mi bechinas. It says she be mechinas. It's the base and the mem are interchanged. You see? Huh? You with me or not? Yeah. See, it says the brachas she mi bechinat. The blessings that are from the level of satim, concealed, these are higher blessings, yoter. V'gam hamshachat lamata hi betokef gadol yoter, and also the revelation below is also higher. Mitashturim means that blessings that come, that seem to be curses, are really higher than regular blessings. Okay, the Isa b'Gemara Sham, like it says in the Gemara, shebarcho oto tolid banim. It says that you will give birth to children and you'll bury them all. It says, what type of a blessing is that? It says it means you'll give birth to children and they'll all get married and they won't come back home. Hamshachat v'giloi koach ein sof b'dor yeshorim v'borach. It means all of your children will all become righteous and they'll be. Hine perush zeh, this masha borchu b'lashon kazeh, the reason that these wise men, these tzaddikim, blessed the son of Rabbi Shimon in such terrible terms, hu lefisha bracha ba'ofen zeh u'mechinat satim, because it's what's called a hidden blessing, something higher than you can possibly understand. Omer admirat samach tzedek shehu yoter nira kepashtan. It seems that this is yoter nira kapashtan. It seems more that they're the simple meaning. What does it mean? It says over there, there's blessings in Parshas Chukosai, that this is the opposite of blessings. Sometimes it says that these curses are really curses, but they're curses for the bad side. Instead of cursing the Jews, cursing the other side. And afterwards it brings a higher explanation. It says the reason that these blessings were brought in a negative way was in order to make him sharp, right? The Rebbe, the Eliezer ben Shimon, he came back from these tzaddikim. He said, listen, these were righteous people. Why would they curse me? Let's think. I have to think about this. In order to make him start to think about how to explain, how to see the good in what's apparently bad. Sharpen him. V'gam lefi perush zeh inyan habracha shebalashon zeh enok bepashtut begilui. It's not in a simple way, in a revealed way. In other words, they said a bad thing, apparently, but the blessing is contained inside of it. Shahari b'chdei la'amod ala miti te'inyan tzarech chidud ha'seichel. You have to think about it. So there's several ways of explaining the curses in Parshas Bechukotai. One way is the curses are really curses, but they go on our enemies. Another way is the curses are not curses, they're really blessings, but we have to use our intelligence to be sharp to understand where the blessings are. Afterwards, the Tzemach Tzedek decides the Masha brachos ne'amar b'lashon kazeh ein ze girun. The fact that these blessings were said in a negative way, it's not a bad thing. Ela adarabba. It's not that they're hidden, we have to use our minds, it's a curse for the enemies. Ela mipenesha brachos nailas yoter. It must be that these blessings are very, very high, and that it comes into the world in a way that we can't see it. It seems that these blessings, these things that are said, mean it simple. We're not hiding anything. Birchataninu are really blessings. It doesn't mean that we have to be sharp and see the blessings inside. Ki im hapirish hapashut, gam ba'olam hapashut. It means these are really actually blessings. God forbid that we'll see, let's look and see. That we'll see the Holocaust was the greatest blessing. How could this possibly be? This makes no sense. Just don't worry, Mashiach will come and make sense of it. I mean, just think about 1 second. Just think 1 second, okay? Herschel.
Yes.
Right? It says Mashiach is going to come. All of the non-Jews will drop all the religions. Right? And they'll worship only the Creator. Now, the religions of the non-Jews are not so bad. Exactly the opposite. They're infinitely better than atheism. Right? At least they believe in something. They believe in a power that's above them. They're approaching God as much as they can. What's wrong with that? He says, nothing wrong. Who says it's wrong? So then why should they change it? Why should they change all the religions? It must be that there's going to be something that's going to make them realize that what they really thought is good is there's something infinitely better than that. And what is the thing that's infinitely better than that? What today they think is bad. If they thought that really Judaism, that worshiping the Creator was good, they would do it. But it must be that for some reason they think it's not good, that it'll make them lose something. So what's being revealed now as bad, right, is just that. It's just that, right? It's just things that just can't be accepted. But the fact of the matter is, when you can accept it, it'll be something that's infinitely, infinitely good. Same thing, don't ask me how, the Holocaust and all these other terrible things. To us, it seems, and there can't be anything worse than the Holocaust. I mean, it's like all the curses that are written in Parshas Ki Tavo, we said. But if we could really look at it in a big way, the true way, what it is, we'd see the fact of what there is was really infinitely good. How it could possibly be, I have absolutely no idea how this could be. And that's what it means. That it's going to be something totally above, it's a good which is totally above our understanding. It's above our understanding. Well, the Tzemach Tzedek says, Patachat HaDerech, after the Tzemach Tzedek opened the way, Befrat, and especially Shalimud v'Natan Zeh b'Torah Malashon Hora'ah. He put this in Torah. Now, let me just say a parenthetical statement over here. Okay, Herschel. We pray every day. We have this thing called prayer. It's a commandment to pray. What are we praying for? That God should not make another Holocaust. There should be nobody that's sick. There should be nobody that's poor. There should be nobody that's confused. There should be nobody that's lost, right? We pray that there's going to be a good, that we can see this good. We don't want any type of more Holocaust that's really good and we just don't realize enough, right? We're saying, God, listen, the good, whatever the Holocaust was good and that was really, we don't understand is good. Okay, I accept that, good. But God, you're infinite. You can't do that same good in a way that I can understand that it's good, that we can understand that it's good. Do that same good that comes out of this in a way that we can understand now in our small little peanut comprehension. That's what we're praying for. Right? We're praying for it should be a good, that we can see that it's a good. But nevertheless, the fact is that when, God forbid, bad things do happen, that really, somehow or other, it's the best. Says the Rebbe, since the Tzemach Tzedek put this in simple meaning, okay, Herschel, Na says, Hora'ah v'netinet koach l'kol echad ve'echad. If so, this is a teaching for every single Jew. L'faresh u'legalois habracha gam b'lashonos v'inyanim shebechitzoniim nirim kuli. That we can express and be aware of blessings even in things which seem to be the opposite of blessings. Don't let the world get you down. Adarabah. Brachos Elohim Nailis Yoter. These are the highest blessings. Ukapashtan. Hatov Benira Venigla. A good that's revealed. So if we see things, God forbid, that happens that are not good, of course, you can't say this about somebody else, but you can say it, God forbid, if it happens to yourself, that this is somehow or other amazing good that we can't understand what it is. This is really good. I don't understand it. That gives me pain that I don't understand it. But what I can do is I can realize that the pain comes because I'm trying to understand it, and I can't. Really, everything that happens is a tremendous blessing. Do you hear this, Herschel, what the Rebbe is saying? The koach zeh, tahamshich kol inyanim betova nira v'nigla, the power that we have to draw down and make the apparent bad good, hu gam bekol yomei hashan, is in all the days of the year. The problem is just to realize that it's all coming from God. It's not coming from nature. It's not coming because of, life is but a dream. Ubefrat b'Rosh Hashanah, shemachtirim et hamelech, that we crown the king with happiness, simcha gadola, like it's brought before from the previous Rebbe. The simcha paretzes kol hagadarim, that when a person is happy, it actually changes the situation. It actually breaks through all bad. V'alachas kama v'kama and Yom Tov v'Rosh Hashanah, that it falls on Shabbos. Okay, this is not this year. That's what the whole, these two Maimonim are talking about. The kol hamshachos shahnasim al yadei, to get shofar, that everything that happens accomplished by sounding the shofar, nasim im b'Shabbos mitzad atzmam. They happen on Shabbos on their own. And Shabbos nimshach b'chinas tainug hapashut. And Shabbos is drawn down this essential pleasure of God. Kamuvur, like it's explained by Arucha in the Hemshach Yod Tov Shel Rosh Hashanah B'chol Yos B'Shabbos, which is written by the Rebbe Rashabin Samach Vav. Yes. Which maybe we'll learn Samach Vav next year. Could be, I don't know. Okay, let's go. Vazeu. Have we got time?